Today you officially announced through a video post that you will be running for Congress. So what made you want to go ahead and run?
For me, I think the decision was sort of similar to the one that I made to be a special ed teacher years ago. I saw a group of people, a population of kids back then who were being underserved and who were not being advocated for. And so I had a passion for working for them. And today I see a group of people, I see a population of people here in the 2nd District who are not being served and are not being advocated for. And I have a position now, I've got a platform, I've got a microphone where I can speak up about issues that are important to me and people listen. And so I want to use that voice to talk about the things that are important to the people in this district.
Speaking of which, when you were talking about growing up, you grew up in a single mother household. So tell me how you're going to help others who are in the same situation.
I think what mothers are concerned about is getting their kids adequate education, getting their kids educated for the types of jobs that we are going to be seeing in our nation in the coming years. At the same time, they want to make sure that college is going to be affordable, and they want to make sure that they have jobs that pay well, and that the economy is improving or continuing to improve in a way that they can afford to take care of their households and their children. I think that's the same that's the same thing that all households want, whether they're single-parent households or not.
And you went to college here in Charlotte, so you grew up in North Carolina. Tell me, what does it mean for you to run in your home state, run for Congress?
This is an area, this is a state in general that I've advocated for North Carolina since the minute that anyone would listen to me talk, and I love North Carolina, and I don't think that's a question on anybody's mind at all. And I love the people here. I grew up, my family is all here. I'm an 8th generation North Carolinian, and this is home, and it always has been, it always will be. I left for 2 years and came back because I missed North Carolina that much. It's important to me, and it means a lot to me because these people in this state, the people of this state, are people who are family to me. They put me where I am today. They supported me, and they got me to the place that I am today, and I feel that I need to turn around and give back and thank them by trying my best to make sure that Washington works for them instead of stands in the way of progress.
Yeah, you talked about the people of North Carolina. So a lot of people are saying, we're fed up with Congress. We're fed up with politicians not getting along. How will you be different from the rest in the crowd?
I'm not doing this for me in any way. I'm doing this because I'm fed up too. I can't stand the fact that throughout my lifetime, politicians have always disagreed. Politicians have always disagreed ideologically, but somehow throughout the decades we've seen politicians be able to figure out a way to work together, to come up and figure out solutions that work and that make everyone happy to some extent. And in the last 3 or 4 years, that's stopped. We don't see people working together. We see people spending more time trying to tear and this is both parties. We see more people trying to tear the other side down, whether it's Republicans tearing down Democrats or Democrats tearing down Republicans. And that makes us get nowhere at all. I think the most important message that'll be sent is when we see people starting to get fed up with that, and we see people being elected or being kicked out of office because they're standing in the way of getting anything done, it's gonna cause a sea change amongst politicians who are going to realize, you know what, if I don't do my job and if I just stand in the way and vote no, I'm going to get voted out no matter how safe I think my district is. And people are going to start realizing they're getting paid to do a job, and they have to go up there and they have to do it, and they have to stop standing in the way of things. And so my part of that is to be a voice for those people who are fed up. For the next 10 months, I'm going to be their voice, and November and beyond, I'm going to be their voice as well.
And you taught special education for many years in North Carolina. So tell me, how will you change education here, especially focusing on the special education aspect?
I think we need to work on education in general because we need to be preparing kids for the types of jobs that are going to be available in the coming years. High-tech jobs, jobs that require specialized training, and we need to make sure that kids who are getting out of high school are prepared to go into community college programs where they are able to be trained for these types of jobs. And we don't need to be discounting liberal arts education either. One of the great things about America is we are the innovators. We are the ones who create the incredible things like iPhones and Facebooks, and those those people who are creating those are the types of people who are getting abstract learning, access to education that lets them think abstractly and think creatively. And those are just as important as the jobs that train people to do specialized, high-skilled labor. So we need to make sure that we're encouraging all types of education, and we need to be funding that.
Yeah, and lastly, I'd love to kind of get your thoughts on this. So Congresswoman Renee Elmers, she was recently quoted saying, apparently his performing career is not going so well and he's bored. As we know, he didn't really fare all that well. He was runner-up. How do you respond to that?
Well, she also said in there that she thought I had a beautiful voice, so I say thank you. You left that part out, and that was my favorite. I think it's indicative of exactly the kind of thing that people are tired of. Politics is about tearing people down instead of building other people up. It's a shame that I didn't even get a chance to get into the race before the mud started being slung. I'm not going to sling any back. I am used to hearing criticisms. For the last decade of my life, I've heard plenty, and even before then, my skin is way too thick to let that bother me. They're going to have to do a lot better.
All right, and you spoke of the criticism, but are you getting any support from the Claymates and from your fans? Are you getting any support from the Idol fans and the Claymates? Are they showing their support?
I don't necessarily categorize the support that we've gotten thus far by different groups of people necessarily. We've gotten a lot of support, especially today. I mean, I've been humbled by the amount of support we've had from people in this state and in the district who are fed up, just like I am, just like you mentioned, people all over the state are, and they're coming out very vocally to say, you know what, we're fed up with the exact type of things that you're fed up with too, and we want to see people go to Washington and listen to us, talk about jobs, talk about the economy, talk about education and making sure we can put our kids through college. And they don't want to hear the mudslinging either.
All right. Thank you, Clay, so much for joining us. We appreciate it a lot. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.